Hello everybody, this is Fyrakk. Now unfortunately I had to do a voiceover as my original audio did not save. I'm going to be going over this fight in detail, going over what this group could have done better, could have done worse, but more or less just breaking down the very few differences between heroic and normal Fyrakk. There's really only one difference in this entire fight, outside of obviously the just big damage change, as there's a lot more damage that goes out, and that would be the ability that happens in about 6 or so seconds called Blaze. Now you see the circles get dropped, you see a flame is still there to be dispelled, wildfire is still going out that you have to dodge, or firestorm rather. He still has his frontal. This ability is called Blaze. What it does is it spawns 8 beams on a player. Now, they do about 280,000 damage, at least that's what I, as a cloth wearer, was getting it for. But the main thing with Phase 1 in particular is the people with Blaze need to just stand still, and everybody else who does not have Blaze will just walk into the Venn diagram of all the areas, and you'll be fine. The biggest thing in Phase 1 is still getting these circles to the outside. Obviously, you don't want them near the roots. If those circles expand into the roots, or if something just goes drastically wrong and someone runs the wrong direction, it's going to expand off every side of it if you don't drop it on the edge. So obviously, it'll be a pretty quick wipe. It's 70%. He phases. We use AMZ here just to mitigate some of the damage. AMZ does work to take a little bit of the edge off. This is a standard phase 2, or intermission phase rather. You really just position yourself around there and stand still. Use defensives, use stuff to help your healers down if you can, but as you can see, I just kind of position myself at the tip and just stand there the whole time it's damaging. This is where you would want to use your healing cooldowns, or kind of cycle through some healing cooldowns if your group's less experienced, or maybe your healers aren't as strong. Or even if your DPS isn't as strong, because realistically speaking, you know, the longer you're in that phase due to lower DPS, the more damage is going to go out. Now in Phase 2, it's still healing. Heal the ads up. Don't hit them with the ads when he does his flyover. But the difference here is now Blaze needs to be moved, because if you hit them with the Blaze line, they will also swap over. So what you have to do is the Blaze lines have to move. As you see, they'll spawn here on the right. Now those weren't close enough, it ended beforehand, but that line had to move to the left in order to clear them. That is it, really, for this phase. I mean, outside of that, it is pretty standard. You know, you see he's about to do his flyover, and I'll kind of point out some things here, but we get a lot of uptime on just these golems, so we keep them stacked just to burn them down simultaneously. The Blaze lines get away. As you see, I have it here, and I actually almost fuck up and walk into them. I get it back to the outside. No harm, no foul. Just after that, it's just clearing ads. This was actually a really clean first ad phase to Phase 2 for us. As you see, he's about to land. This, like I said, this particular part of the fight is honestly pretty boring. There's not a lot going on. The biggest thing is just making sure that your Blaze lines don't hit. As you can see, the guy's about to get it, and we all have to adjust. Now this is something that, it goes without saying, is all up to player awareness. People have to be paying attention here, otherwise you're going to hit those ads, and if you lose 1 or 2 ads, you'll probably be alright. As you'll see later, we actually do lose one of our ads, literally 1 ad, and we end up just fine. But if you lose 3 or 4 ads, the chances are you're probably not going to make it. But again, he's casting his fly away, he's casting his fly over here in just a second, or strafing run if you would rather. We're just working on the Colossus. The healing ads are all in the clear now. The ads here, if you watch that line, it actually is going to clip that one, and that's the ad that I'm referring to. The other 4 do get through, so we end up just fine, but you gotta be definitely very careful with those Blaze lines, because as you saw, all it takes is clipping it once, and suddenly, you know, you might lose 2 or 3. I turn here and I actively just go ahead and start working down the ad. We do still have Fyrakk. He is pushing phase 3 here. I think it's in about 15 seconds or so. But all these healing ads are the priority. It goes without saying, without those healing ads. So healers, if you have a weaker group, or maybe not weaker, but less experienced group, I recommend breaking up the healers, maybe having 1 or 2 healers who are putting a lot of effort into healing those ads, while the 1 or 2 healers focus more on the raid. It's all in your personal setup, how your group runs, what you guys are comfortable with. But that's what I recommend, is just kind of having set. It also depends on what type of healers you have, obviously that goes without saying. Now, there's 4 seeds on Heroic. What we do here is we actually recommend putting all of the seeds and people on this side, where I am standing. As you see, I died just because I wasn't getting healed. I was very low, and then my blaze line went off. Like I said, it was about 300k. We actually lose 2 seeds here early because people aren't paying attention. But what we recommend is we put all the seeds on this side of the boss. Now you'll see a red marker and a star marker on the far side of the boss. And what you're going to do with that is you're actually going to drop all your tornadoes over there. Because as you see, they kind of swirl around in a wide circle. And if you hit the seed, well, the seed dies and it pulses damage. Now, we lost 2 seeds, which comes into play later. And that was due to a blaze line. Someone wasn't paying attention. They threw their blaze line out. As you see, this seed almost gets hit, but they get the blaze line spread out enough. But they threw the blaze line out, and he actually moved onto the person with the seed, and that was enough to break the 2 seeds. I kind of turned my camera there, as you see, just to point out that that should not have been placed there. But here is the second seed. Now, realistically speaking, we should have 2 seeds left. But obviously, 2 of them were broken. We're at about 70 million health when we come out of that seed, and it is just a race against time. We got Roar coming in 21 seconds at this point, and obviously a ton of our DPS, myself included, are all dead. Not only are a ton of them dead, but some of our biggest DPS are dead. So what happens here is we get up to this point, and at this point we are calling out, as you can hear in the comms, we're going to double AMZ in darkness. I think we only actually get 1 AMZ off here, but enough do live to actually take down the boss, thus ending the fight. It was a sloppy phase 3, but in the end we got it.
Can we get a map, right?